What's going on, everybody? Here with you again, back, and this time it's a little bit of my thoughts and reactions to, I guess, day 1.5 of the WWE Draft. Um, they had more picks the other day that wasn't on Friday Night SmackDown, so I guess that counts as a point five. I guess I don't know. They're gonna do the rest on Raw before. I was like, and I think they're gonna do it again on Friday. But it's just sort of weird for them to have some other half, like sort of just telling you by hope, like carrier pigeon or something. I don't know how the news got out or why they would do it this way, but anyway. So, just thinking about it, Raw was I was like, I guess like not they weren't first up. It was just more that I'm going to go to Raw first. Um, they took codyrhodes, and I figured that we all sort of thought that would be the case, but I don't know how that's going to be the whole thing. I guess with Romanreigns, just because I get that you sort of got to let them be separated, but it's just that I was like, if it was still like everybody could just be on whatever show, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. But since we're going to stick heavily and hard, that I'm like, and I don't see him winning that new belt either. So it just seems weird and odd of having him separated. And it's like I get it, but I know they're going to try to bring it all back at some point. And does that mean that we have to wait to Rumble? Is it going to be something like Survivor Series or something? Will it just be, I was like, because I was like, I think they're even like they're going to be doing their own pay per views for each brand on top of that too. So I'm just wondering, like I'm like, is he done officially? That is, I guess we're just gonna have to wait to see how that goes. Um, we'll see how this sucks or not. But anyway, Becky Lynch stay on Raw. Which I guess makes everyone just gonna figure like, okay, so Seth Rollins is also gonna stay on Raw. I would have liked if she would have went to SmackDown just because I feel like it's been a while that she's been over there, and just to change her up a little bit and just try to be like, I saw her as the man on SmackDown or something. You know how they sort of tie all that stuff together. I called this one, but Imperium, I called that they would go on Raw just because I'm like bigger brand. I was like, if he keeps the Intercontinental Championship, all right, cool. But if you drop it off of him in some time, he could compete into the whole this new championship thing and be a monster on that side too as well. But I don't think they. I was like, I don't think that they're going to have him win it. Not this early. Not this early. I feel like later on, he'll be one to have it. But I was like, but call that one. So pat me on the back. Drew McIntyre. Speaking of which, pat myself again. I was like, just feel like he just needed a change. He just was on SmackDown for a while. You've been losing to Roman Reigns. You've been losing your matches for the Intercontinental Championship. You've been doing a whole lot of fighting with Sheamus, and just need to slip over here and do to a different side. Also, I think they're going to try to put him into that whole pot of who might win this new championship. I was like, I feel like he's sort of needing a belt. Um, Weirdly enough, so I feel like that was sort of the move in that as well. Um, the Miz, he got a TV show on the same network, so sort of makes sense. I'd love it if we ever got back to the Miz being somebody that's could fight for the heavyweight championship. Like I like to me honestly, I personally like the Miz. I think that he works as somebody who can have the main championship but be sort of a prick or slither his way out of things while also can give you like pretty good lead up to matches and stuff like that. I just think that they've had him be, comedy so long that that's sort of a stain on you, and people just look at him just like, and I'm like, you sort of need that person in the mix of sometimes in these world heavyweight championship matches. Like it gives you a breather or it gives you a break until you put on like a champion of sorts. Um, anyway, I also called this one. Did two pass on the chest. So pass on the chest. For Shinsuke Nakamura, I feel like in the same way with Drew that they put him on here to give him a chance at that championship. Um, also he hasn't really been on the red brand either. Like I said, he wears a lot of red to never be on the red brand. So I think Triple H is going to try to give him a shot to win the championship. I don't know if he'll get the championship, but the people that he'll be matched up against will create good matches for him to be in championship matches. And I just feel like it's a new blood that will just be flowing through Raw in these championship matches. Um, I was like, they called up the NXT champion Indy Hartwell. I don't know too much crazy about her. She sort of just seemed like she's gonna be Rachel Rodriguez to me, where just like she's here. Um, and they don't really have plans for, especially like the women that come up. So, but I don't know what you would necessarily. I mean, yeah, I don't know necessarily what you'll do with her. Um, but okay, yeah, whatever. Um, I was like, oh, I guess Candice LeRae's on here, so they did have a group, and they got Dexter Loomis also on Raw. So I was like, that was the way. Theory stays on the same thing, and they'll take the championship off. But if he stays on there, I hope they get that championship to Bronson Reed. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But then I'll be like, cool, another stable, boom. See, and I was like, never mind. I don't know the whole way with it. Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville. Man, I feel like they don't do enough with Sonya Deville just because I feel like she's a good heel champion. I was like, she can fight. I don't understand why they don't use her with her MMA background, but also she's also a sniveling heel and also do stuff to get her way. I feel like she'd be a good champion, maybe not for a crazy long time, but pretty good. I was like, I don't see why. It's sort of weird that they'll give Ronda. I get that she has a name, but like her and Shayna, just like, oh, they can fight, but whatever, kind of thing. Um, the one I'll say the two I'm excited for. Before I get to them, Viking Raiders. I was like, man, ever since they just came in, they just never been placed right. Sucks because I was like, they should have a title. I think they should sometimes also compete for singles titles, not necessarily win them. But to me, I don't see how they can't be not necessarily FTR, but in that mode of like they work pretty well, and they should just have the belts every now and then. I was like, especially in where just I know we've had them hosted for a while, but even before then, they wasn't really winning the championships as much as I felt like they would need it to have some legitimacy again with people. But now, the two that I'm excited about, jdmcdonagh, and I forget his original name, but I seen him when he was at NXT UK, and at that moment, I was like, yeah, that's the dude I want to see fight for the championship. I think he did go. I think he did come to NXT for a while, and I think during the pandemic he had a dip out or whatever. I know they said that Shawn Michaels really enjoyed him one day, and I was like, so I started to check out stuff, and I'm like, ooh, nah, that's the dude. I was like, I like his whole demeanor. He seemed like he's a real like crap talker. But his moves work where he could be a heel, but he's also a hard he hits hard in some of his matches he could take hits and stuff like that too. Um, I was like, I will be excited to like see him and like maybe like Shinsuke or something, or him and Walter, or Gunther. Sorry, Gunther. Um, but we'll see if he gets a shot. It's on Raw, so I feel like he might get a shot. Something I was like, depending on how seeing, I was like, I was gonna say if Austin Theory still had the U.S. Championship, that's who I was like. But they gotta move it to SmackDown. But that's who I would have somebody to come in and immediately beat him. And so also my same thought process. They also have Zoeystark coming in. I was like, she seemed like she wasn't in NXT that long before they brought her up, but she's sort of grown on me in a lot of matches I've seen of her. And so I was thinking, I was like, you know what they should do? They should have her immediately, like if she's being called up. I'm pretty sure Bianca is going to be. I feel like she's going to be EO, but somehow, some way, they should have it where Zoe comes in and immediately beat Bianca, almost like how I guess in AEW now she's Araya, but how Paige beat AJ for the championship. I feel like they should do that with Zoe and immediately just say she's main top talent, all that stuff. But they won't do that. We'll see where she falls in line. Anyway, SmackDown, Bloodline, yeah, Bianca Belair. That was surprising. I don't know how they're gonna do the swapping of titles, but somehow they're gonna have to figure it out. That would seem dumb to me. They should just. This is why I thought they should have waited until like after Backlash, or like maybe like a little bit before Backlash, some way or something like that to get that off. But she's on. I was like, hey, she's gonna be on SmackDown. I don't really remember. I know she was on SmackDown, but I don't remember on SmackDown like that. But that'd be great. And of course, Street Profits joined. They don't split them, and so I guess that's good or bad depending on how you see it. I still would rather them get I was like maybe it's still too early for them to get split up and have their own little separate singles titles run. Maybe they do single matches, but just not split up. Edge is on there. I think that'd be cool. I was like, he's always been SmackDown. I mean, he's been both in different time periods, but I was like, but Edge on SmackDown, that seems like a good way, and they'll probably stoke the fire between him and Roman. The OC, I feel like that was really all also of ajstyles versus Roman, and just to get that brewing again, because we haven't had AJ versus this new version of Roman. So I feel like that's going to be really great to see, and plus I feel like AJ still got a couple title runs in them. So I was like, that's a whole way to create that whole situation. Damage Control went to SmackDown. I thought they might try to split them up, but they didn't. That's going to create a whole thing of where you're like, well, Bianca gonna beat Io. But also, I thought they might split them up just to give, because I'm like, Bayley's not doing anything worth of a title right now. I mean, hell, you got Io battling for that spot. And they haven't really been taken credible as a team. So it's sort of been one of the things where it's like I get you're going to keep them together, and I guess until they do their own implosion, little storyline or whatever. I was like, it's not a bad pick. I was like, look, you get 3 women on there, and I was like, at some point they do break them up. But maybe if this year, then guess what? Now you got 3 different people to battle for Bianca. So I mean, so at least that creates a different version of storylines, I guess. I don't know. This has been underwhelming, and I really wish it wasn't kind of like every one of them in different ways. I feel like Dakota Kai should go back to her NXT babyface little run. Then when she turned heel more so, Io a little bit the same way, but Io was at least, but Io's such a badass that it doesn't in a different way than Kai. That I'm like her being babyface and then turning heel. I was like, it was cool, but she could just stay that way and it just be like, oh, okay, cool. Like Asuka, that same type of mold. Other than that, they called the tag team champions for the NXT women. I was like, I seen a little bit of Alba Fire a little bit, but I don't know enough about them to really give anything. Hit Row at this point, when they just didn't have Swerve, it really wasn't worth anything. So. And last but not least is Lacey Evans, and she's been not around and just been like, she's here, is she? I don't know, maybe. No, not really. That, she's just sort of a throw-in. It's like Natalya on how she got thrown in on Raw. To me, I liked Lacey Evans when she was doing the whole lady gimmick. I liked that. I was like, I'll be in the minority. I like that. I thought that she should have beat Becky Lynch in one of those matches or whatever, just because I'm like, and it's my thing that I'm like, if you're gonna put people in this prime spot to be in champ and stuff like that, to be champions or be taken seriously, just give them the title. That way, even if everybody's mad, see how it all plays out, because you can always take it off of them to that person they beat, but let them go ahead and skyrocket them, and let's see what they got. Let's see how it all interacts. But now, like Lacey Evans, though, I feel like she should be somebody that should be at a little bit higher, and they ain't got a mid card title, but a little bit higher. But she's not, and it just sort of just like there. Anyway, that's it for, I guess, 1 day and a half. We'll see how the rest of these go. But if you like this, I appreciate it. Thanks. If not, hey, maybe next time. Or other videos. But until then, peace. I'm out.